Um, let's see what we have going on here. Claiming that I've got stream settings. Okay. Enable DVR. Okay. Analytics. Viewer activity. Okay. So that all seems like it should be working all right. So let's see if things actually work. I'm going to throw in a poll. Hey, Amy Jo, how is the video quality? Excellent. Good. Adoption. Fair. Or start poll. And okay. Hey, Billy, thanks for being here. We got Amy Jo, we got Billy. We got the party going on, right? All right, so let me get out the planer, and I keep thinking that I should make a cart for this guy, so I don't have to be pulling him out and lugging him around. I've been putting him on the floor, which works. I was thinking to put him up on the workbench, but then I was thinking maybe I don't want to do that because I want to connect the dust extractor. And if I do that, I won't have enough room for the dust extractor. So let me try it. Let's see if I can make it work. All right, so can I make that work? Let me move you a little bit. And I'll move the shop vac out of the way. And I think that's the power for the shop vac. That didn't work quite right. All right. And putting the dust extractor over here where the shop vac was. And plug that guy in. I'll move some of that stuff out of the way and get my hose. I'm not sure that this will have enough length for that, but if needed, I can bring the planer a little closer to the edge. And sneak that on right there. All right, that should work. Plug that guy in. And all right. Yeah, Amy, we're glad you're feeling better. I didn't remember you feeling yucky. Oh wow, let me jump in the chat here. Okay, so we've got Amy and Billy and Raja. Hi, Raja. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And let's see. Amy needs to get some sleep. That's sad. Why would you want to work tomorrow? It's no fun. Lauren, say thanks for being here. And let's see. Glad you're feeling better. Interested in seeing a car in book. I have in Kindred Wood Cavers. Would you be interested in seeing a car in book? I'm not sure what you mean by a car in book. Okay. Night, y'all. Hey, good night, Amy Jo. Thanks for being here. Night and sweet dreams. Good night, Amy. Hey, Mike. Thanks for being here. Everyone see Mike's shop video? He says he's wants to do some shop cleaning, some shop cleanup. So I had to make sure to see the before so that I could understand what the after was looking like. All right, so I'm going to get my eye and ear protection going. And actually, let me show you some of the boards here that I want to plane. So I've got some of them that I've mostly planed already. I'll start with those guys right here. So I planed these before, but then I found that even though they looked pretty good, and initially I thought they were good, they're not quite right. So I'm going to skip planing these a little bit more. Man, I really like the skip planing. It is so much easier than what I thought I would have to do. So I'll start with these two, and then I've got several more boards over here that need to get planed. There's a couple right here. There's that guy. You can see how varied he is on his width. And then same thing on that guy. So these are just from a willow tree that I had in my backyard, cut down this last year. And let's see. About my world champ. Oh, are you a Seahawks fan, Mike? I was watching the game earlier, and it was getting to be a bit of a blowout. Wood carver. It's a book on carving walking stick handles with gargoyles. Okay, cool. All right, and then I've got some of these guys. All right, I think this is all that I'm going to try planing of these guys. So I got that one, and you can see these gouges from the chainsaw, making some plunge cuts in there. And then I've also got this guy who's pretty thick. And these guys on the bark side, they've got all sorts of thorns coming through that I did not know was a thing. But I'm gonna have to be careful with how I handle these. So let me make my stack of stuff to plane, scoot it over so I have enough room to get things through the planer here. You can just kind of see the planer setup. I've got the in-feed right here, and then obviously it goes through the planer, and then the out-feed. And I've got the dust collection hooked up to the dust extractor down there. So I might need to empty the dust extractor periodically, but that'll be okay. So I think I'll give you a view right there so you can easily see the willow as it comes through. And your son Niners. Oh yeah. My son was not too pleased about the Super Bowl. He wasn't really that interested in watching the Super Bowl because his Niners had been eliminated. So I didn't really even realize he was much of a fan of the Niners until this year. I think it mostly stems from him having a lot of 49ers on his fantasy football team. So let's get this going. So I got my eye and ear protection. I'll get the dust extractor running. And I'll get the dust extractor not running. And I'm going to unlock that and bring this down a lot because this is a lot thinner than where it was set. And obviously I'll need to adjust this for each board because they're all a little different in height. I'm going to scoot this over a little more there. Actually, I'm going to scoot this over that way too. Move that over. There we go. That should give me a little bit more security. And we'll get the power out of the way. All right, here we go. Oh, Mike, you tired and hurting? I'm sorry, dude. Hope you start feeling a lot better. All right. All right, start to get a little bit of bite there. So let's try it. I'm just going to set it down here on the workbench. The workbench isn't necessarily perfectly flat, but yeah, it's got a twist in it still. So I wonder put it this way. Does it still feel? Yep, still feels like it's got a twist. So I'm going to throw it on. See if I've just got a little piece of plywood that I can run it on. I don't see anything right here. So let me put that aside for the moment. I'll just put it underneath. It's a reminder that we still need to work on that. And I'll try this guy that also still needs a little bit, also has a bit of a twist. We'll see if all right, that's a little bit of bite there. Let's try it. with the other. Let's see if, yeah, it still feels like it's got a little bit of a twist to it. Let's see if we this way. Seems a little better. That should be good enough. Got a little bit of tear out here. That side it looks pretty clear, pretty clean. All right, so put him over here in the finished pile, or not finished, but ready for the next step pile. And then this guy, I'm not sure if we're going to worry about planing him all the way down to here, because that's a lot thicker over here, but probably to at least over here, especially since, you know, this side doesn't go all the way through. Here's what it looks like right now. A lot thicker up here than it is down here. And let me get my, yep, Willow. That is right. It is Willow. Thanks for being here, Trev. Appreciate it. Yeah, double tap the screen if you like what you're seeing. If you don't like what you're seeing, tell me about it in the chat. Maybe we can make things better. And let me give you a little bit of view from a little further back so you can see the board fully, I think, when it comes out. All right, so making some good progress on this one. Let's see what we've got here. Hey, Cedar, thanks for being here, man. Let's see. Okay, Lawrence, you shared the book in Kindred Spirit Woodcarvers. Cool. Just in case y'all are interested. Yeah. Flip the board. Yeah, so I've been, I'm skip planing this. So I'm flipping it every other pass. I had to wait a bit before I could really do this side at all because it's got a bit of a curvature this way. And so when I first tried to feed it through, it was kind of spitting it back at me. Didn't really like having the board coming up and into the cutters. So I had to remove more material up here before it would even feed through with this side up. But by skip planing it, going through one side and then flipping it, going through the other, it makes it so that it takes off, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then eventually gets to being flat and parallel. So I'm going to test my or check my dust extraction because I'm getting some blowback here. So let's see how full the dust extractor is here. And well, it's not really very full at all, but for some reason it's really backed up. Let's see if I can run it. Let's see if that. No. Maybe my hose was just already full, and so it's not really draining how it's supposed to. Let's see if that improves things at all. All right, I think that should be okay. Guess we'll find out, huh? All right. Yeah, and thanks for being here, Rob. Appreciate it. All right, let's go at this again. We'll turn on our dust extractor, turn on our planer, and then we'll get to planing board. Yes, daughter?
Mom says you're being really loud, and if you don't do that, she's going to turn off the breaker and make your power not work. I don't know if she knows how to do that or not, but I think you should stop doing that because she's ready to like murder somebody, and somebody's going to be you.
Interesting.
She's called you like 6 times.
Oh, I haven't heard any calls.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, it might be because that's really freaking loud. That might be it.
Weird. Okay. Well, I think we're going to be done with planing Willow boards then for the short period. So here's our progress so far on this one. So, hope you all like it. And I think with that, we'll call it good.
That guy says he will.
Let's see. So this is my daughter here, and she is relaying the message that Melinda's not happy with my noise making. So Billy often asks how Melinda is doing. And it seems like right now Melinda is doing not so happy with my noise levels. So I think we'll either need to figure out something else to do on this live stream or end it. So let's see. Let's do some cleanup while I figure out if I want to do anything else today. So I'll put this guy back over here because I'm not finished with him. And then let's see. Instead of using my vacuum, I'll use the brush. And that guy also still needs some work. And let's see, what else? Oh, you know what? I've got something else I could do that's quiet. So let me I'll just sweep that stuff into my dust collector receptacle. That's what we've collected so far. And clean up the rest. Here's my the one Noah's Ark that didn't quite make the cut. A little too thin, and I didn't want to risk my hands on the belt sander with that one. That was on a live stream the other day. I was thinking that today was our lesson on Noah's Ark for the Sunday school kids that we teach at church, but I was wrong. It's next week. So we'll teach that next week. And actually, I'll put this guy over here for now. And then, all right, so I'll just leave him here for now so that I'm not lugging him away and then having to bring him back out next time. But I can probably take off my eye and ear protection for now because I'm not being loud and I am not having particles of wood projectiled anywhere. So I think I'm okay on that. I'm going to unplug my dust extractor and my planer. Leave that over there for the moment. No. Throw the dust extractor pieces back over here with the dust extractor receptacle. And I think I'll wheel my shop vac back into place for now. And let's see, actually, I'm going to get some of this excess cord wrapped back up. That should be plenty. And then it's ready the next time I need it, which is not right now, because otherwise my wife will be upset with me. All right, so here's my idea. I've got the pieces to this old bunk bed that I have sanded down like a couple years ago, maybe, and still need to put a finish on them. So I'm thinking to put on some finish. All right, how do I want to set it up? So, oh, here's the axe that I was sharpening last night into some willow. Had to test it out, make sure that it would actually cut stuff up here. So, all right. Happy wife, happy life. Exactly. Right, Billy. If she ain't happy, you ain't happy. And if she ain't happy long enough, you'll be unhappy with half your stuff. So, paraphrasing from, what's his name? Jeff Foxworthy. I believe he said that, or something similar. All right, so let me get, let's see. I think the easiest thing to do is going to be to actually set this bunk bed up. And it's actually just half the bunk bed. The other half is in use in my daughter's room. And so I can set it up, and that'll make it a lot easier for me to apply the finish rather than having to apply the finish one piece at a time and then maneuvering away for those pieces to not be resting on this, what I just put finish on. So I need to find, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need to find the screws that go to these. Just trying to remember if I think, hey, I think this might be it. The lags. Thought I put them over here next to it. So this just might be what I need. It seems to be the right size. So let's see. So these are the rails. Obviously, headboard, footboard. Oh, and these guys are the supports that go right there, basically. There should be 4 of these, I think. But there are separate smaller screws for those. Let's see, I used to have them just saved in a, oh, you know what, I might still, yep, I think I do. I don't know if they're all still here, but I just put them on this magnetic tray. Looks like they might all still be there. Maybe not all of them, but at least some of them. See if any of them fell out over here. No, don't see them if they did. So, all right, I'm gonna try to put those in quietly. So, wish me luck. Oh, one of these is not the railing. One of these is the protective board that goes in on the top bunk to prevent people from rolling off the side. Don't need to use, well, that's not going to get connected in at the moment. Maybe it should be, but it's not. But it's definitely not going to have a little railing attached to it. So have that there, that there. So this should fit in one of those spots. Let's see if the holes match up in any configuration here. So far, no. 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 I do not see how those are supposed to go on here. Let's see. Definitely not. No. 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 Well, I don't see anywhere for this one to connect. So, I'll have to worry about that later. I still haven't sanded this. This was kind of my hang up before. The ladder. So one of these days I'll get around to sanding that off. I don't see any hardware on connecting these rungs, so they might have actually just glued them together with some worse than 10 joinery. So, all right. Good times. So, let's see, I think these might all have the same hole pattern. So, let's do this. So I think this is supposed to connect like this. One of these. So if this is this side, this would go in like that. So I'm going to grab the drill, not the impact driver, because the impact driver gets very, very loud, and I can more easily control the volume of the drill. And let me see what size of connection I need to have on this. All right. Get out a bit. Let's see. There we go, right there. That is ½ inch. Shocking. All right. So let's see what kind of angle you've got here. If you're able to see anything worth seeing. I'll just try to adjust this for you a little bit. Give you a little bit better view of what I'm trying to do. All right. So we've got the holes right here from the rails. So, there we go. And before I try to connect that, I am going to find something to raise it up on so that it is closer to the intended height. How about a box? Let's see. Yeah, it's a little higher than it should be, but at least it's got some sort of support there. All right. Well, actually, I wonder if I turn this around, even though it'd be upside down. There we go. That's just about where it needs to be. And so let's try it. All right. One leg in. Next to go. Okay. 2 legs in. All right. So now the question, should I do the other leg first, or should I go over here and try to connect with the other thing first? I think it's probably going to be better to do the leg first. So I've got 2 contacts basically on the ground. And okay. And okay. Okay, this one is meant to be for the top, as is that one. So I want those rails together, and then this rail over here. There we go. So I'm leaving that a little bit loose so that I can still get the next one in here. Make sure I get that aligned before I make these too tight. Okay. Hey, it's standing up on its own mostly. Check in on chat, see how we're doing. Looks like we're doing okay. Hey everybody, if you want to, looking good. Yeah, thanks, Billy. If you want to hit double tap if you're liking what you're seeing, I appreciate it. And let me get my next two here. We'll have that, and then that, and bring that over here. And let's see, that one determined is not what we need. Okay. And well, I'll just let it rest there. Get a couple more legs. Oh, there's no washer on that one. Might have fallen off in the bag. And that washer is kind of stuck in position. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. All right. And scoot this back a bit. And give you hopefully a little bit better angle of my backside here. And pulled out the lag without a washer again. Hopefully we find one eventually. That's not what I wanted. Rocking back and forth there. All right. And probably better to have that closer. That's all right. Probably easier to have more than one person involved in this, but I can only work with what I've got here. Okay. So I'm going to flip these over. Try to rest him against that. Flip this guy over. And right now, I think I'll rest him against here. And all right. We'll see what we can do about connecting this guy. I think I want to put him here. So that's going to be way too tall. Let me see if I've got something that will more appropriately match where it needs to be. Let's see where it needs to be. Right there. Let's see here. Probably I do, but I just don't know what it would be at the moment. So, absent that, I'm just going to make do with what I know I do have. Which is a bag with no freaking washer. Keep pulling those guys out. All right. All right. Is that the direction I wanted to go? Well, it doesn't really matter because right now I'm just putting the finish on, and this is not how I'm going to have it aligned in the end. So okay. Okay. Getting close here. Another washerless lag. I think maybe I've got more lags in here without washers than I do with washers. There's one. There's one with washers. All right. Let's see. You probably want to adjust this. Hey, Velocity, thanks for being here. And K Bazzy, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, let me check in on the poll results. Curious about that. Let's see. Excellent, 35%, 41% say it's good. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going here. Slide this down. And angle that over this way. And all right. Now we're coming. All right. Now I really need to have some support because let's see, I think I'll try putting the top lag in on either side before I start trying to tighten either one of them. If I can just get it started. All right. There we go. And let's see if I can get the other two started as well. Hey, what do you know? Got lags with washers. All right. Those all seem to be in place. So let's tighten them down. Oh. All right, those are a little loose there, which is okay. I'll actually tighten them up. little bit anyway. Whoa, that's more than I wanted. Okay, and we've got 4 more lags that are supposed to go for this support piece to keep people from falling out of the bunk bed. So let me get that connected as well here. Unless you all think otherwise, this is not actually a bed that I made. We bought this used on Marketplace like a long time ago when our kids were much younger. So we've had this probably for 14, 15 years, something like that. Jeez. Oh, it's really going at it there. Apparently I keep bumping the safety. All right. Got all those on. Okay, so I still need to put on these guys. And they've got these holes from when they were originally placed. So they should go on basically like this. But I'm wanting to align them with the holes that were there before. Well, I put them on backwards for that. Because, oh yeah, initially, I put them on upside down. And so I put the holes on the inside. But you know what? Doesn't really matter because I'm going to have to disassemble this whole thing anyway. But I'm going to put finish on everything first and then reattach these guys. So that way I'm getting finish on the exterior of everything. And then I can separately do these guys and then disassemble it all and take it upstairs and get it working right. So probably not in camera right now, in view. Sorry about that. So here's what it looks like right now. And what I was just saying is that I got these guys that are supposed to support the, like the slats or whatever that the mattress rests on. And they're supposed to be down here, but when I assembled these, I assembled them upside down so that I could use the box for support, and forgot that I was doing that. And so right now I've got the holes that they were previously drilled into are over here. So I can still attach them because I'm going to disassemble the whole thing anyway to take it upstairs. But I'm not going to put these on right now because I'll finish it first and then put these guys on. So let me just put these off to the side for now. And then we can figure out what to do with the finish. A craftsman, a unicorn. Yeah, I'm not that much of a craftsman, really. But thanks for being here, Ursula. Recently remodeled a guest room, used my childhood bed, 50+ years old. Awesome, that's great. All right, so let me get the finish. And I think I'm probably just going to use this bench to sit on as I work on it. And I think I've got a flattened box over here that I can use. Yep. I used this as protection earlier for my, I think when I was spraying some shellac. And so I'll just use that to protect the floor a little bit from my finish. And all right. So get some finish out. And I need something to open the can with. So I'll get my opener. And I need something to stir the can with. This should work for that. My paint or stain or finish stirrer is usually just some piece of scrap, whatever. So I've obviously already used that for stain protection, or stain stirring, or paint stirring, or primer stirring, some kind of stirring. All right, so throw that down there, throw that down there, put that there. I will reposition you guys so that you're more focused on the action. And let's get you even lower than that. Here we go. And try and turn on the light from over here. Don't think it'll do much because it's just how this is right now. But all right. So let me mask up. Whoa. Actually, I need to brush off all the excess sawdust on this guy before we start applying stain. And since I haven't opened up the can yet, I will not put on my protective mask yet either. And let's see, this never fits on exactly how I think it should. Seems to work to protect me, but because I don't smell any noxious fumes while I've got it on, but it is kind of a pain to work with. Okay, I was gonna try to clean it off. So see all that sawdust from all the sanding I did on this. Of course, now I'm getting all that sawdust into the air right before I start applying the finish. And it's not the best, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Better for it to be more dispersed. This was, I think I sanded this before I had my current setup with my shop vac and cyclone separator. So it didn't clean the dust off nearly as well as what it could have. All right. Of course, as I see all this sawdust coming off, I'm thinking, well, maybe I should have put my respirator on already because all this sawdust in the air can't be that great for my lungs. I think the other issue, in addition to the sawdust accumulation from when I originally sanded these guys, and probably the much bigger issue, they've been sitting in the shop now for years, essentially, collecting dust, including sawdust. So probably that's a bigger part of why these are so inundated with sawdust. Because of all the other stuff that I've been doing in the meantime. All right. That's probably good enough for now. Hey there. And all right. We can give you a look there. All right. I don't remember what I sanded these to, but they feel smooth enough to me. In other words, I'm not sanding them anymore. All right, so I'll get my respirator on here. Which will likely make it a little bit more difficult for you guys to understand what I'm saying, which might be a good thing for you. I don't know. All right, respirator is in place. I will open up my can. Oh, I'm going to wear some gloves. Now that I think about it. These gloves are thicker than I like. But they, in theory, should protect my hands from the finish. And I'm not doing any stain because I'm lazy. And this is, I think, just pine. And so in order for stain to really look very good on it, you probably have to do some conditioning, some pre-stain conditioner and that sort of thing that I just don't want to do. All right, make sure that I'm going to break apart in there. Try to get them thoroughly mixed. And I think I'm just going to leave my stir stick in here because the instructions say to mix thoroughly or stir frequently or something while I'm applying the finish. So if I leave the stir stick in there, it'll remind me to stir periodically. Whereas if I take it out, I probably won't remember. All right. Hopefully that's enough. And let me get out some brush here. And let's see. I want as few strokes as possible. So let's see if this will fit. It will. Let's try it. It would be better if I were applying the finish to each of these pieces individually instead of all in place. It'd be easier to get these corners. I'm not quite following the application instructions, but I'm also not too worried about it. All right. And let's move to the opposite side. Hmm. And with that, I want to move my bench seat here. All right, there we go. The lighting should be a little bit better over here. You can let me know in the chat whether it is or not. Ah. Oh, shit. Oh, great. Just great. Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh. Damn it. Wasn't intending to put finish on the floor. Oh. Hmm. Don't remember how much that finish cost, but probably half of the can or more. It is now vanished. Great. Just great. All right, I think I've got most of it up now. All right, so I think simple green is probably the best stuff I've got to clean that finish off the floor. All right. Yep. Whoops. Exactly, Billy. Exactly. Don't think that was quite what I said when it first happened, but that kind of sentiment, yes. Well, these floors needed a deep clean anyway, right? Oh, wasting the finish because that stuff is never cheap. I said I don't remember exactly how much it cost, but whatever it was, I'm going to recoup those dollars now. I mean, not that I was going to recoup any dollars on it anyway, but it's probably giving you a really good look at why they call me tomorrow. All right. I'm gonna remove these gloves. And I'm gonna break down a new box to act as my protectant. I hope I've got enough finish left in that can to finish the remainder of this coat. Frustrating. All right. All right. Some fresh gloves. They're too thick. Stir it up. And here we go. And let's see if I can, if her text me here. And we'll stir instead of kicking it over. All right. New position again. And preferably without spilling. Okay. Gonna call it a night, Billy? Hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good evening. Good sleep. See you next time. Alright. Mhm. Hey there. All right, so, oh, thank you. Thank you, Trouble. Could you hear my last response there? Because as I went in the house to see what the missus needed, it looked like my microphone might have died, so I wasn't sure if you could even hear what I said before. So hopefully you did, and that prompted your response. I'm getting some fresh gloves on now. My wife was like, "What are you doing out there?" And I explained what I was doing. She's not that excited about it. And she was concerned about the noxious fumes that she could smell on my person. And I was like, I'm fine. But she was displeased, I think, with having to smell them herself. So let me reposition the bench now that I think I've got everything on the interior done. And I'll keep this over. Give myself more room over here. Okay. All right. Back to the finish. Oh, looks like I got a fair amount of finish that I spilled right there that didn't get cleaned up earlier. And my boo-boo. Just throw it away there for now. All right. And stirring the pot. you on a trip. Take you on a trip. All right. Now, I'm going to scoot everything down that way. Do it like that. time to adjust things again. Let's see here. I'm gonna put this guy here for now. Infrequently. I don't have a lot left after my spill earlier. But I think I might have enough for this coat. Getting close here. Hey, Vindy Farmhouse. How you doing, Brian? Good to see you, man. Hey, Raja, thanks for being here. Oh, all right. You missed my big spill earlier tonight, whatever it is. Might want to rewind and see my big mess up. I'm getting close to done with this. So if you can hang tight, Brian, happy to monitor the chat a little bit more closely than I am right now. Just have to finish this rail and this part of this post here, I think, is all that I've got left to do. And I'll call that good enough on the rail. How's things going in your life, Brian? Getting any projects done? Has it been super cold there, like in most of the country? Not sure how, but around here we've mostly avoided the super cold. So, we were getting down into freezing temperatures. This was below 32. I think sometimes we were getting down into the 20s, but for the most part, not nearly as cold as what I was seeing reported in lots of other places in the country. All right. I think that pretty much that's it. I think I already did this post. No, mostly. Let me just hit it again just to be sure. All right. There we go. And that pretty much depletes the can. So, actually, I'm going to leave my gloves on. Use the camera over here. Get a view for what's happened so far. And I'm going to try to get this guy away from the workbench. All right. There we go. What do you guys think? All right. So what I also should do is open up some ventilation in this room. Oh, it's raining outside. I think I knew that. I should have opened up the door before repositioning this back here. Whew. I did it. Hooray. All right. And I think I'm going to get my rolly chair. If I can put it through here. And hang out with you guys for a minute. There we go. Rolly chair. All right. There we go. And get that down a bit. Got the simple green out because I had to clean up my mess. Okay, put that away. Okay. All right, so let me check out the chat here. See how we're doing. Okay. We've got some working there. And everything working there. Let's see how we did on the poll. So 33% thought the video quality was excellent. 44% thought it was just good. Fair at 17% and poor at 6%. Interesting. Very interesting. For those of you who thought it was something less than excellent, feel free to tell me in the chat what is contributing to your assessment. Is there anything in particular that's causing you to think that it's less than excellent? What is your feel on that? What do you think? And thanks for joining me, by the way. Appreciate y'all being here. Started off planing Willow boards and did that for a little bit until the missus called down and sent my daughter down and said, "Hey, be quiet. I was being too loud." So I shut down the planing and tried to do something a little bit quieter. So we've got a coat of finish on this bunk bed bunk, and we'll let that dry and cure, and maybe apply a second coat, maybe not, and go from there. So if you have any questions, pop in, ask your questions. If not, I think we're just going to wrap up here. So, looking a little chunky there. Oh well. All right. Yeah, wherever you're watching from, thank you for being here. Appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time. I guess I have to end the live stream on the phone because that's where I started it. I've been doing a bunch of others not from the phone. So, here, let me end the poll first. There we go. All right. We've locked in those results. All right. Take care, everyone. See you next time.